Egil Thorson here, and today we're going to talk about Seax versus the sword. I'll explain more later, but before we do that, just sit down, relax, get something nice to eat and drink, and it'll make time go easier. I hear you say, what is a Seax? Well, here we go. This is Norwegian, we can tell by the triangular pommel. It's a single-edged weapon. It's basically a single-edged sword, this one, but you get them in various lengths and they're more like machetes, as opposed to the twin-edged sword. However, both of these examples are for wealthy people, very wealthy people. Which is best? Well, I think that's a matter of preference, because you can only use one. Well, I suppose you could stab and use two edges, but this is quite a nice balanced weapon. As I say, this one's a Norwegian example. What's this one? This one is English or Saxon style. Looks like a loaf of bread. You see, there you go. And another type you get like a bishop's hat. That's the Abingdon style. But what you have here, I'll go through the parts. The pommel, important. It balances your sword. It goes so that if you aim there, it goes where you want it to. The grip, which is self-explanatory. Quillions or crossguard. Now there's a tang, who's like a long thin rat's tail, goes up there. Now in the Viking times and Saxon times, you'd put the crossguard on and then you put the pommel on, and then you'd heat the tang, bash it over. Now you'd then have what's called tension bars, which is probably mild steel, which would push that way and that way, thus keeping the two apart. And then you have something probably organic, like could be ivory, could be wood, wrapped round with leather and glue. Then we have the blade with the edges. You have here the fuller. That's not, as some people will tell you, for blood. What it means is it makes it lighter, but you don't lose any metal. The posher swords will be damascened or pattern welded. Let me explain. It's a series of iron rods, heated and twisted. Then you get a collection of these heated rods, again twisted, and then the edge would be made from high carbon steel. Very, very expensive. This is a pretty basic sword, and it'd be rather like owning a Ferrari, which not many of us can. So we come to the Seax. Pretty much the same, now, if I'm being honest. Metal is something we've come to expect every day. Metal is almost spiritual, because you get these stones, you heat them up, you get iron, and then depending on the skill of the smith, you can either get high carbon steel or very inferior steel. But I would imagine this would be the same price, because you've got virtually the same amount of metal. We compare the two there, and it takes the same skills. But so these are the bigger ones. We've got a smaller version here, and this is more a fighting style. This would be a lot cheaper. Again, you've got the fuller along the top. Even so, you know, this would be someone of Bragg's rank would have one of these. It's also a sign of your freedom. But you can see the difference in that. And this is a Langseax or wound knife. I was always told that the larger one was called a Seax. No doubt some people will disagree. That is your prerogative, please let us know. So I'll just put that one away. So which is more effective? Well, a sword is alright so long as you're about 33 inches away. If your opponent's got a 9-foot spear, you're on a loser. Or if they've closed you up. Imagine, you've seen the police, riot police, they have shields linked, and if you push in close, there's nothing much I can do. But with a shorter weapon, I can stab underneath. So it depends largely on circumstance. To sum up, they're both very effective weapons. We've found examples of these in graves. This tends to be Norwegian, well, this particular style is anyway. And swords are something on your wish list that you know you've made it when you made a sword. Now, if the king gave you a sword, it was a matter of if he died before you, you kept the sword, passed it on. If you died before the king had the sword back. Anyway, there we have a little talk on these things, and we'll cover them later on. If you've enjoyed yourself, please subscribe, press the subscription bell,